Today, we are going to talk about worker fatigue. Do you know what fatigue means? Fatigue has been described as a feeling of weariness, tiredness, or lack of energy. As maintenance, we face this on a daily basis. Let's discuss the worker fatigue so we can understand how to acknowledge it and hopefully reduce the chances of experiencing it. Long work hours and irregular work shifts are common in maintenance. Many American workers spend over 40 hours a week at work, and almost 15 million work full time on evenings, nights, rotating, or other irregular shifts. Work schedules like these may cause worker fatigue, so this could be any time we are on snow shift or maybe pulling extra hours on the overlay crew. Shift workers may be scheduled to work days, evenings, nights, and or on a rotating or on-call basis. They may work extended shifts, rotating or irregular shifts, or consecutive shifts resulting in more than the typical 40-hour work week. Long work hours may increase the risk of injuries and accidents and can contribute to poor health and worker fatigue. Studies show that long work hours can result in increased levels of stress, poor eating habits, lack of physical activity, and illness. It is important to recognize the symptoms of worker fatigue and its potential impact on each worker's safety and health and on the safety of coworkers. Several factors, including too little, poor quality, or interrupted sleep over a period of time, can cause fatigue. Fatigue is the body's signal that a rest period is needed. Long work hours and extended and irregular shifts may be stressful physically, mentally, and emotionally. The body operates on a circadian rhythm, which is a sleep-wake cycle. It is a naturally programmed for sleeping during night hours. Demanding work schedules may disrupt the body's natural cycle, leading to increased fatigue, stress, and lack of concentration. So, what are the effects of worker fatigue? Worker fatigue increases the risk for illness and injuries. Accident and injury rates are 18% greater during evening shifts and 30% greater during night shifts when compared to day shifts. Research indicates that working 12 hours per day is associated with a 37% increased risk of injury. Direct or indirect links to increased costs from lost productivity, increased injury and illness costs, increased time off the job due to illness, and increased workers' compensation costs. An estimated annual cost of $136.4 billion from fatigue-related, health-related lost productivity, work time to employers. So, how can fatigue affect worker safety and health? Fatigue can cause weariness, sleepiness, irritability, reduced alertness, impaired decision making, and lack of motivation, concentration, and memory. Studies have also shown that fatigue is linked to health problems such as heart disease, stomach and digestive problems, musculoskeletal disorders, reproductive problems, depression, some cancers such as breast and prostate, sleep disorders, poor eating habits and obesity, worsening of existing chronic diseases such as diabetes and epilepsy. And they have also found about 20 to 30% of road accidents and 5 to 15% of all fatal road accidents involve driver fatigue. So, what can employers do? Employers can reduce the risk of worker fatigue in the workplace by examining staffing issues such as workload, work hours, understaffing, and worker absences, scheduled and unscheduled, which can contribute to worker fatigue. Arranging schedules to allow frequent opportunities for rest breaks and nighttime sleep. Making adjustments to the work environment, such as lighting, temperature, and physical surroundings to increase alertness. Providing worker education and training addressing the hazards of worker fatigue, the symptoms of worker fatigue, the impact of fatigue on health and relationships, adequate quality and quantity of sleep, and the importance of diet, exercise, and stress management strategies to minimize the adverse effects of fatigue. Consider implementing a fatigue risk management plan under which, like other risk factors, fatigue can be managed. So, what can workers do? Workers can promote restful, healthy sleep by following sleep hygiene recommendations. Here are some suggestions. What is healthy sleep? Make sure that your sleep period is 7 to 9 hours daily without disruptions. Try to sleep at the same time every day. Avoid drinks with caffeine prior to bedtime to improve sleep quality. If working evening or nights, make sure that sleep has occurred within the last 8 hours before going to work. If napping before work, make sure that the duration is less than 45 minutes or greater than 2 hours to allow for a complete sleep-wake cycle. Make sure that sleeping environment is comfortable, cool, dark, and quiet. And exercise regularly, eat a balanced diet, and maintain a healthy weight. So, how to tell if a worker is fatigued? Fatigued workers can put themselves and others at risk of injury. It is important for managers and supervisors to know the signs of fatigue and watch out for these symptoms in their employees. So, 1. Tired, weariness, or sleepiness. Drooping heads, incessant yawning, and eyelids that seem to be closing are the most obvious indicators that a worker is fatigued and needs time to recover before costly errors or accidents happen. 2. Irritability. Workers can be irritable for many reasons, including problems at home, financial stress, conflict with coworkers, etc. Another reason may be the lack of rest. It is a good idea to watch for patterns of irritability or a newly developed bad attitude, especially when combined with other signs on the list above. 3. Reduced alertness, concentration, or memory. Watch for workers who appear to have trouble focusing or who can't recall seemingly simple things, like what they just said or did. Having difficulty solving problems can also be an indicator of fatigue. 4. Lack of motivation. Employees who appear to suddenly lack motivation to do their job and do it well may seem lazy, but this is generally a sign of broader issues, including fatigue. 5. Increased mistakes or lapses in judgment. If a worker who is otherwise proven to be competent and good at their job starts making frequent errors or poor choices, it may be a sign of sleep deprivation or fatigue. 6. Headaches. Headaches are a sign of fatigue, but they can also be a sign of dehydration. Before deciding it is fatigue, make sure all workers are adequately hydrated on the job, even when it's not hot outside. 7. Increased susceptibility to illness. Workers who are suddenly taking more time off due to illness may be experiencing fatigue. Insufficient sleep wears the body down and affects a person's ability to fight colds, flus, or other illnesses. With an increase in fatigue, it's not uncommon to see a rise in absenteeism. So in review, worker fatigue is something we deal with as maintenance, but with a little planning, we might be able to avoid. Try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep before going to work. If you need a nap, take a short nap, less than 45 minutes or longer than 2 hours to ensure your sleep cycle is correct. Try to avoid caffeine before bed. Get some physical exercise. When sleeping, try to sleep at the same time every night and keep it cold and dark. Also, keep an eye on your coworkers. Are they suffering from fatigue? Maintenance never has a solid schedule all year round. Between snow shifts, accidents, and project season, we're always trying to fight for sleep. Hopefully, we can do better in the future. For some references on fatigue, you can look into OSHA, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, National Institute of Health, or the National Safety Council. Thank you for attending the Colorado LTAP Tailgate Talk. Until next time, bye!